Alright, couldn't think of a little funny intro to do, so we're just going to show you guys one little thing that the little puppy here can do. Which, if you guys don't know, his name is Shinji. Just like the character in the aforementioned anime Neon Genesis Evangelion. There's a story behind his name. We're not going to get into it right now, but I do have this treat. Get back here. Gotta sit. Gotta sit. Gotta sit for the Rangers. Got friend. Alright, now, get big. Get in your robot. Get in your robot, Shin. Shin. That's begging. Get in your robot. Get in your robot. Get in your robot. Good boy. There you go. Good boy.
Hey Rangers, welcome to Super Report Reviews. My name's Steve, and today I'll be going over the Bandai Tamashii Nation's Metal Build EVA-01 test type from the anime Neon Genesis Evangelion. If you guys aren't sure what this is a pretty much complete remodel of Unit 1 seen in the anime. What these metal build figures are is a mix of plastic and die cast, and this one actually has some like chrome plated parts to it. But these are essentially way more highly detailed, highly articulated action figures than what you generally get with, say, Robot Spirits of Certain. Like, to me, this seems sort of like a Shogoken, in a sense, because of the mix between using die-cast parts and plastic parts and what have you. But done to, like, a new degree in terms of the detailing, because from what I've seen anyways inside of the packaging, and we already actually did an unboxing on our other channel, like this thing's molds for this figure are phenomenal. In terms of just like the amount of effort and attention to detail and the articulation, just how the figure works. So you know what, we're just going to get into this because I'm already super pumped to get this anyways. If you guys are interested in getting one, good luck. Because essentially he sold out like pre-order wise within like minutes of this thing going up, and then pretty much every time we popped up on a new site, pretty much sold out. So like I got it for, I think it was like $240 after shipping. It's around there, but you're probably gonna be looking to pay more. So anyways, without further ado, for its packaging, you can see on the front here, a lot of purples. You get some emergency symbols in the background. You get a picture of the figure inside the package holding the sword. Forget the name off the top of my head right now. We might get back to it with the gold lettering here for the Metal Build EVA-01 test type. On the bottom here, you get the official stickers, which you'll be wanting to look for if you decide to purchase this. So make sure you don't end up with a bootleg, because I could see this happening eventually. Also, the Tamashii quality sticker on the side. This side just 01 with some orange, purple, some bubbles with the nerve hiding in the background. I think the opposite, oh nope, besides just orange with some Eva head. Back of the package just shows him in dynamic poses, some of the stuff he comes with, whole crap ton of stuff I can't understand, some legal mumbo jumbo with the Bandai Fin warning choking thingy label, and more Eva head on the bottom and some Unit 1 on top. So let's get him open up out of its cardboard prison. Alright, so now that we got him open up out of its cardboard prison, as you can see, maybe I played a little bit too much with it. So here it is with everything attached to Unit 1. So we're just going to start reverse engineering it, and then we'll get to the actual figure here. First and foremost, we have its giant display stand, which you will have to assemble. If I can get it off of here easily. I will say one thing that's nice is everything fits on here tightly. Negative. Everything fits on here tightly, so I worry about breaking things eventually. But it does come with an umbilical cable, which is super cool. It does come with two. I will dig out the other one real quick, but for the most part, we're going to go over the base here real quick. Actually, you know, we'll just come back to the umbilical cable. And actually, no, we'll come back to the stand too, because I kind of have to deassemble it in order to get to this as well. Hellboy fell over. That's what happened. I was just like, well, why are there booms behind me? Alright, so we'll go over the weapons first, and then we'll be attaching the weapons to here, which you'll see there's a bunch of peg holes on here. And these guys, which are actually little extender pieces, if you want to attach items. Because you get these little extenders, which Nothing too much, but look pretty cool. Look like extra little armor plates. And then you get these little clips that slide over top of the weapons, which you'll see that here in a second. But these can both peg into the slots here. Slightly too big for those. I think they're too... Oh, no, they peg into these spots here too. And then on the mech... Oh, actually, before I grab the mech, they also have the exact same thing going on the opposite side too. For the mech here, you actually get these little sections here, which on the side, so you can hook in up to 5 different things in 5 different combinations. More than likely, you're just going to have one of the attachments on here, but it gives you a lot of variety where you're going to be pegging it onto it, which is cool. But this does come off, so you don't have to have this permanently on your mech. And then this piece of metal, well, piece of plastic, but metal plating, if you will, slides back and forth in order to hide this segment. So it's kind of like RoboCop in a way, which is super cool. Same thing going on the other side. Again, we're just going to start pulling things apart on here, but you get that over here as well. And then for the top section of the mech, you get 2 spots that you can put them onto here. But as you can see, it's a little weird with the shoulder pads here, because we're going to articulate his arms a little bit. I recommend taking your time when articulating these things, but he actually sort of has 2 of the shoulder pads that aren't officially connected to his arm either, so they're almost like wings in a way, which is cool. It's something different for sure. When attaching them, I'll pop off this one because this one's actually pretty easy. The other one's a little bit more stiff, but you'll see there's a peg hole here. You have the peg right up here that just pops in, and then you just slide this one into place. It holds it in. It's pretty easy to do. This one was a little bit more of a pain in the butt to get in, but you can also remove these if you want to, but they're not actually connected to the shoulder pad anyway, but you can kind of line it up if you want. But for the most part, you'll be sliding the stuff around when you're articulating them to get them in the poses anyways. But you get the pellet rifle here, which currently actually has an attachment on it. Well, actually a couple. But here it is with the long barrel rifle. Not exactly certain what to call the attachments, but it just looks cooler. Imagine it gives it a little bit more range. Plus it has these cylinders here, so maybe it's more like an energy projectile. But this just slides over top of the barrel here. So you want to make sure that this hooks onto the rails on the bottom. And then you just slide it into place. Pretty easy to do. It actually stays on there really firm. Here is the pellet rifle just by itself, which you can pop this clip out here too. So if you want to have like unit 1, like inserting the clip into the weapon, you can do that. This section back here actually lifts up as well. What that's for, and I'm trying to find where my random one went, is for this little connector piece. So if you want to have this hanging off like the back of unit 1's shoulders, you can do that. So you have the gun like hanging out the back here, or off the wrist, or waist, sorry, if you had the thing hooked onto it. Or also just displaying it on the display base is also an option as well, which is really cool because then you can have pretty much all your accessories out with your EVA. For the most part, like you can't have the hands or these other accessories like this progressive knife, which can slot on the bottom here so that you can use it for stabbing, kind of like a bayonet. Also, this does slide out of here as well. Man, that is one ugly little peg cut though. But if you want to have this out in order to actually have unit 1 holding onto it to stab things too, is an option as well. It's a little scary to get that back in, but stays on there pretty firm. And then we have the underbarrel grenade launcher, which, just like the other one, slides on. I kind of like the grenade launcher. I don't, but the only thing that kind of sucks is I kind of want the grenade launcher with this on it because it's just kind of bigger, but then I guess it doesn't make sense because you're not going to fire the grenade into the cylinders. So I don't know. Like, I want to have them with the gun. I'm debating between this or the barrel. The knife's kind of cool, but I think I can live without it. But detailing is actually just phenomenal. As you can see, it's got a little bit of more like a baby blue in the back here, with a lot of lining here for the inner detailing, some gunmetal here and there, even some extra little detail. Like, for the most part, like, this, like, easily one of the best looking guns, if not the best looking gun in my collection, especially with, like, all these little random accessories and what have you, just like you have with this. Like, it gives, like, just this weapon's already, like, making me, like, merit the price tag of this guy with, I think Big Bad, he was, like, 1 or 230-ish, 2 something. But you do get this. You also get the Magnum, which is currently still attached to the thing. But nothing too fancy here. Coolest thing is that you can actually slide the chamber back and forth with this. And also, the clip comes out of this as well. But detailing really nice. Looks like a Magnum. You got like the hammer back there, the locking mechanisms for the back. You got the hammer, which is cool. It's like, I wonder if that actually can slide. But no, that's just actually in place. Fail me on the detailings, man. Did such a good job and I can't cock back the camera. What the heck, man. Sadly, I don't think you could attach any of the attachments on it, which would be kind of cool. Because I kind of just want to, like, have the knife on it. You just be like, bam, bam, stab, stab. Would have been neat. But nice little accessory. Now, he comes with 2 of these swords. I'm not sure which one is which, because this one, at least in the description, it calls it the Megoroku Exterminate Sword, which you get the short sword and then a longer one here, which they both have different details between them. Like, this one has this little knob thing going on the back here. This one almost kind of looks like it could fire something. Like, this one might actually shoot ammo out of it, which would be cool. I guess there's no trigger anywhere, though. So, I don't know. It's got like a little bit added going on here. Kind of like this one a little bit better, just it's a bigger sword. It just looks cool. It looks like it's maybe like feeding some energy into it or something. Like maybe like the blade's electrically charged. Blade looks phenomenal. Like, I've touched it a little bit with my finger so you can see like it's smearing a little bit, kind of like a real sword. But has a really nice like metallic finish to it. Handles are ornated very nicely and just look really cool. Also come with their own little sheaths, which slide in, lock in. Also, you can attach the little connector piece to the top in case you want to hook it onto the mech. Same with the bigger one here. Also can hook on as well. And then this just slides in, which feels nice too. Like, I don't really worry that I'm going to be rubbing the paint on these, which is really nice. Like, there's enough play in there where you're not like scraping the thing every time you're going to pull this in and out. But kind of looks like sort of like you're sheathing your sword into a bridge for the most part. But I do like that you can still see like the blade on the undersection here. So really nice attention to detail for this as well. And then for the final weapons, you get this short progressive knife, which looks like a straight knife, not like the Unit 2 one, which is more akin to a box cutter. This is more standard issue for what you see for Unit 1. You don't need the little connector piece. Like, this is already pretty much set up. So, unlike these ones, you can kind of have the mech holding on to it, and you don't have to have this actually attached to it if you want. This one, it's kind of mandatory to be hooked onto the mechs, which I don't really see how you could... I guess you still could have like had a spot to slot over it. I kind of wish they would have did that a little bit more with this now looking at it. For the next accessory, we have the shin guards attached to it already, which for these, you actually just slot them over top. Like, they just expand a little bit. So they're pretty easy to get on and off. I don't recommend doing this a whole lot because over time, this is going to rub on the legs here. But it's pretty easy to do. You also get this little swap out piece for the top of the ankle guard here as well, which is pretty cool. I pretty much plan on probably keeping these on the mech. Like, it's just something that's a little bit more unique. It's kind of like this on the top here as well, which you have his goggles, I think is what they said in the description. This kind of gives it more of like a helmeted look. Like he's not actually seeing out of that, and it's more like I would imagine this would be more for like targeting or sniping, what have you, more than standard combat. So like I really like this mask in particular when you're using it with like the pellet gun with the longer barrel on it, because it looks a little bit more like a sniper rifle. But detailing, just got a little bit of black here for the armor plating that's covering the eyes with a little bit of orange in between that. But other than that, nothing too much else different. You have the little horn sticking out here, a little bit of green accent on it as well, which this is a little bit of terrifying to get off because I really don't want to break that. But it does just slide up. Sometimes you can kind of pop it forward a little bit and then grabbing the other one. Just take it, slide it over top of the eyes, and then got your more traditional Evangelion here. And then for the shins again, these are just more of a flat black coloring with some gunmetal spread throughout the armoring, but still looks nice. For the bottom, it's just orange and black. These a little more complicated to get off. Kind of just arc them a little bit to the side. They kind of slide right off. Now you just take the original ones, line them up. I don't think it really matters which side's which, but here is its feet with the original shin guards, which look cool. Almost kind of give it like a more athletic sneaker kind of look. Like these would be some kicking Nikes or Yeezys. Is that what you kids buy nowadays? The Easy shoes? I don't even think I've ever seen an Easy. I'm old. And then because I spent a decent amount of money on this mech, I really don't want to wear out the hand joints as much as possible anyways until I start working on photos, what have you. So I'm more or less just going to show you guys the hands for now, and then you guys can check them out a little bit more in the photos towards the end of the video. But when you want to swap them out anyways, you just lift up on the metal plating here, grip the base of the forearm, and you're just going to want to pull straight up. Straight up. It's a little tight on this one. Again, I don't really want to do this a whole lot, but once attaching them back on, we will grab the more relaxed hands. I'll show you guys the relaxed hands. Then you just try to push that on as straight as possible. Gonna line up the joint a little bit. Pop that in. Move the plating down. Do the same thing for the other side. Gotta swap the hands. And then grip onto it. Make sure not to drop this guy. I I say this a lot for some of these more expensive ones, but this guy I don't think will survive a fall. You're gonna snap that thing off 100% no matter what, let alone what other random thing could possibly pop off. But same thing, pop that on, push the hands down, good to go. But the open hands do look really nice. This is more for stagnant Evangelion. Actually, now that I have this currently set up like this, we'll actually go back to this. I guess we'll finish the hands and then we'll do the stand. And then go over the closer details. So for us of the hands, you got a pair of clenching fingers, a pair of clenched fists for punching angels, other Evas, and overbearing fathers. Get the pair of gripping hands, which like I said, you can kind of use the grip onto the guns, or what these are primarily for is for holding on to the bladed weapons. As you can see, the thumb kind of rests on the back of the handle here. Then you get two gripping hands for your guns. Alright, so for the display stand, it's done in a military green. Base looks really nice. We have the EVA-01 test type 01 with the caution, red caution warning label tings. There's also little peg holes here, pretty much littered throughout the thing in order to hook your umbilical cable to, and just pretty much whatever you can actually like slot into those, which is pretty easy to do and get out. Grabbing the umbilical cable, you just kind of whatever you want to peg into, you just push down and it'll pop out the pegs in there. And as you can see, they're kind of littered on the bottom here. If you want to actually store these on here, you can just put them into here, which is really cool. Actually, I gotta put all those in later. But you'll have to remove certain panels in order to start attaching these, but it's pretty self-explanatory once you get everything attaching onto here where it's supposed to go. You just follow the instructions in the booklet, because I don't want to have to try to pull these back apart. But essentially, you pop these two into there, these peg into here, which these two peg in on the inside, and then you have this little M back plate here that hooks into the back of here. And then you put the stand in the middle, and you're done. For the stand, what's cool, if I get all this crud out of the way, is that it's actually pretty articulated. Actually, I'll just take it off. But you can rotate it side to side, rotate it all the way around if you want, and then it moves forward and back in each of these little joints. So you get a lot of play to it, and it's also super sturdy, which is really nice. And then also you can hook your umbilical cable into here, which is actually fairly stretchy. I don't recommend pulling on it because this thing's probably going to pop off, but this pegs into the connector piece here, and then you have two umbilical cables, which this is the one that you want to use if you want to peg the stand into it. And then if you don't want to peg the stand into it, you have this standard one as well with its own like little thrusters on the back. But there's these three little pegs. These hook into the back of the mech. How you actually attach this onto there is just the slides off. Just be a little bit careful because those are tiny little bits of plastic. And you just slide it back in when you want to put it on. Attach it into the back of the EVA. You can see right here the two little peg holes in the larger one. This just slides in pretty easy. I don't recommend like posing this guy on the stand. You know, like you want to have this guy pretty much pose. You hook him onto the stand and then just get him all set up, because I imagine this could snap pretty easy, and especially when pegging this in, you just want to line it up, go in, and then just kind of push in. But it does hold him in pretty well, I will say. I kind of got him falling forward right now, but we'll have them all hooked up here in just a second. And what I actually recommend doing is when you want to peg them in, is you hook up the umbilical cable to the stand rod first, and then you peg it into his back, and then line it up. But as you can see, again, holds them in there pretty nicely. And then, like I said, from here, I don't really want to articulate it that much without it lining up everything first. And to be fair, you don't even need this in order to actually hook them into the back. So we're actually going to pop this stuff off real quick. Alright, so I found out I didn't have the back plate in quite as far as it's supposed to be. But these do articulate on the back here. So you just kind of line up your mech. Arch the back. This is going to be fun, because it's supposed to be sort of like this, hooked into there. And the arms will come down, and that clamps over top of the arms. And then that's how this holds our mech into place here. So I'm going to do the other side real quick, because it's going to take me a minute to set this up, and then we'll be right back. Alright, it's in. It takes a little bit of finessing, but as you can see, the shoulder pads hook into there. You know what? It stays in there pretty decently. Like, it is a butt to get those to slot in there. But, because you have to kind of like line it up, arch its back, and then kind of have it bending in a weird angle, and then it's slightly off the ground, off the 1 foot right now. Like, probably articulate a little bit better to get it to touch. So it's kind of like another option if you want to have them like officially look like it's docked, which I might do. Like, this does look pretty neat, to be fair, and I like this little control arm, but it is gigantic. But it does do its job nicely. But this is, like, I feel like if you bought this, you kind of bought this for the entire package. So it's between either having like all out full armor or having them hooked up in the docking bay. And here's my little bucket of extras, but here is the little plate if you don't want to have the gap showing right there. But pretty neat little setup. Overall, I really actually like the docking bay. It's probably the best one I've seen. The only other ones I know that came with something similar was the old Shigokins, which I have a few of. But those are super brittle and easily breakable. This actually seems pretty sturdy. This is really the only part that I would say is sketchy, is the clamp over top of the arm. As you can see, like, this side's already popping out too after some articulation. But I'm not too concerned about it, but it is something to bring up. But next we'll go over his closer details. I just realized, I know a lot of you people would be like, but Steve is tactically a chick and but it's what I'm used to, man. But again, just to show you these, just so we've gone over everything. But here's the little extender piece. You would just peg that in case you want to have it more like hanging off to the side, or you have this hanging off to the back if you want, or you just want it more not covering some of the detailing. It does give you some options here, which you do get 4 of the extenders and 4 of these little clips for the top of the weapons. And then for a closer look, guys, details are freaking phenomenal. I'm just gonna say it now. We'll reiterate this towards the end of the video, but this is easily the best looking Evangelion I've ever got to own, play with, see. Like, God, I almost like this more than my X Plus Evazilla. Like, even just like for the head sculpt, it looks really nice. Because a lot of this is like, to me, is like if they wanted to make Evangelion Unit 1 look officially like a mech. Like, this is pretty much what it would be like a fully functional mech and all the details that you would see on it. God, like, this could almost be like, if they want to like sort of like superimpose this into like the Pacific Rim universe, like, I could see this being a Jaeger. Like a super fancy high-tech Jaeger. But we kind of already went over the shoulder pads a little bit ago, but you get the green on the back here, the matte black with some orange, and then the same thing going on the inside, but you get this extra little tiny nubs. Kind of look like little wings. For the head, you get the neon green. For the... not sure if I should call it an exhaust port. The sides of the face. For the chin guard here, you get some little hexagons on the top of the helmet here. Get some gray for the back of the dome here and some orange for the neck. A little bit of copper plating for the beginning of the spinal column there. And then for most of the mech, it's done in this purple coloring. You ever see a lot of the purples, greens. Inside of the mouth, I don't think really has too much special going on. There's a little bit of red there. But you don't really have much of the teeth showing. Except for the... it's really dark metallic. And I guess, like, one thing that might have been nice is, maybe... well, I guess... I almost kind of want a brighter color. But then again, when you have the mouth closed, it looks more natural. And then you can see the metallic red here on the undersection of the neck here. For when it articulates forward and back. For the chest, you get some metallic gunmetal. Some golds there. You get the Evangelion with the nerve logo on the chest. You also have the EVA-01 on the shoulder pad here with more of the Evangelion, the nerve logos on the shoulder pads as well. For the arms here, you get the Project Eva, which is on both sides. Nothing on the intersection of the forearm here. But you get some more of that kind of bronzy, kind of a bronze color. Because I know that some of this is, I think it's copper plated, is what they said, which kind of feels like over here. You also get a lot of die cast on this mech here as well, with the coming down the stomach section with the segmenting joints. You get some armor plating here on the sides, looks really nice, and a lot of this just like looks natural to me. Like even looking on the back here, where you get the gunmetal for the spinal column here. Coming down to the back of the armor plating, you can see where the umbilical tube connects to the back with some neon green there as well. And then for the legs, some more of that armor plating there with the purple. Kind of looks like gray off purple for the little stripes here for the inner thighs. You get some more metallic plating here for the back of the calf for the top. Then some more orange matte black for the D-guard. I think that's what I'm calling that. And then again, sweet colored shoes. So detailing wise, this thing is freaking phenomenal. Articulation's a little crazy on this guy too, which is to kind of be expected. But the head can look up about that far, down about that far. Not too much forward and back and side to side motion because this little thing gets in the way. But you can shift the neck down in order to get it to looking more full forward. So you can get that mouth really opening. Or you shift the head down, move the neck back, and then you get the more upright humanoid look. Then for its shoulders, which this here is on its own articulated joint. So you can pose this without it getting in the way of these, because these aren't really posable. And especially like if you want to kind of make them posable, you can unhook them from the back here, but then these pop off real easy, so I don't recommend that. This plating here also lifts up as well. So you would do that to be able to get the arm to go up that far, down about that far. Nice forward motion. And back after we just popped that off. One that's cool too is that is one solid joint. And as you can see, here's the little lever. Alright, there we go. Back motion without it popping off. Then you get a little bit of play on the inside of the shoulder here as well. Actually, that's a lot of play. Like usually you get like a little bit forward to back, but you get some up and down motion there as well. Rotation. Also move that forward and back there as well. Rotation at the top part of the bicep, but that one's a little tight still. Double jointed elbow. Straighten up about that far. You have to move the armor plating here on the side, just like we did with popping off the wrist joint. But it can rotate all the way around. Moves forward and back in one direction. For the stomach, this kind of be careful because each of these little platings are their own articulated section. But kind of wiggling it, you can bend forward about that far. And rear back about that far. A little bit of rotation there as well. And then these are also on their own little joints as well for these little plated sections. It feels like just those two. These ones feel like they're firmly in place, but you get a little bit of play with this section here. The legs can go outwards about that far. This leg actually goes out a little bit farther, it seems. But what's cool is you can kind of see the pistons working on the insides of the leg, and then the armor kind of shifting with the leg, which is really nice, kind of like what we saw with the Shigoken Gypsy. And then I don't think these can really shift up and down. Yeah, as you can see, it looks like there's like a little bit more gap here. But get a decent forward kick. Not too much of a back kick though, sadly. A little bit of rotation at the top of the thigh. Nothing too crazy. Double jointed knee. Straightens up about that far. You also get a little bit of play here. And these are articulated outwards as well, which gives you a lot more play with the foot here at the bottom, which can go forward and back and side to side as well. And a little bit of articulation here at the toes as well. So for quick comparisons here, we have the Metal Build Evangelion Unit 1 test type compared next to what was my original favorite Evangelion figures with the Robot Spirits versions with Unit 1 and Beast form of Unit 2. And here is some more unique Unit 1s in my collection with the original Kyoto version and the Next Edge. And here is next to some Solo Shigokens with Tetsujin 28 Go and Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim. And here is next to some SH Monster Arts with Shin Godzilla and the Peter Jackson Kong. And here is next to some NECA figures with the 24-inch Lawn 2014 and the Godzilla 1962. So overall for the Metal Build Evangelion Unit 1, this is easily the best Evangelion figure I've ever owned. 100%, not even close. Previously, my favorite Unit 1 would have been the X Plus in terms of detailing, and in terms of an actual action figure, would have been probably the Robot Spirits in terms of like what you got with it for the price point, the articulation. It was really phenomenal of that as well, and it's also a really nice looking figure. But to be fair, like this is easily more detailed than the X Plus. Especially for it being a mech, like there's a lot going on with this guy in terms of just like color variety, the armor plating, and just the overall design. It's just a very cool looking version of Unit 1. And then just as an action figure as well. like with all the accessories it comes with. The accessories have accessories for themselves. The stand is awesome and easily the coolest stand I've gotten for pretty much any figure. Period. Like, God, the Shogoken Gypsy really needed something like this. So yeah, if you guys are able to get a hold of this, I'd recommend it, especially at the price point, which was like $220, $240 in there. Like, this guy is phenomenal and easily worth the value. Like, to be fair, like, I recommended the Gypsy from Soul Shogoken, and I personally think this is a cooler figure. Now, like, eBay price, he's like upwards of $400 right now. God, that's a lot of money. Like, oh, I guess my X Plus is still like, you're looking at $600 for that thing. I guess if you really, really need to get a hold of this guy, probably better off sooner or later, but then maybe they'll reissue it. So you might have that going for you. So I'd try to get it closer to the retail price. I could easily recommend it at retail price, but eBay price, it's always hard, especially when stuff like doubles in price as soon as it comes out, to really be like, yeah, it's still worth it for like double the original value. And I can't really say that for this. Like, it's cool. I don't know about $400 cool, like $200. This thing's pretty awesome. So, again, recommend it for the price point. But what do you guys think? If you guys picked up this Evangelion, what's your favorite uners? Not getting the robot, just more to think? Please let us know in the comments. We have a Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon account if you guys would like to be kept up with the channel. Definitely make sure to go follow along with those. And if you want to support the channel, that, again, the Patreon is the perfect way to do that. And we also have a t-shirt shop down in the description below as well. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.